Hello guys, welcome to yet another tutorial in Android malware series where we'll reverse engineer an Android SMS Trojan today. So the goal of the video is to find out what is the SMS message being used by obfuscated SMS Trojan. It basically is a fake app. So what malware are we analyzing today? As I told you, of an SMS Trojan. It's a homegrown fake app which I have built it so that we can focus majorly on the Frida part and analyzing part. Let me show you quickly what the app is. This is basically a fake app icon. If you click on the icon, it has a simple button. If you click on button, here it says that it's sending some kind of message, and our goal is to find what message it is sending. So being a reverse engineer, if you are into Android malware reversing, what basically we'll try to do is first of all reverse, or I can say decompile the app. So let's decompile. We are trying to decompile the app using APK tool, the one and only most famous tool which pretty much everyone uses. And secondly, what we can do is we can do dex2jar dex2jar.sich and fakeapp.apk. So here we will get, so basically APK tool is used to decompile the app, and dex2jar is basically it converts dex to jar implementation, where we can see the intermediate Java classes. So here we have the output of APK tool as fake app, and here we have the output of dex2jar. So initially, if you are into Android malware reversing and into Android malwares, you know that first of all what we'll do is we can go ahead and check for, this is what I basically do, check for Android manifest. And this is, as I told you, a very simple app. It has SMS sending permission and only one activity, as I told you, the button activity, the activity that is having a button which when clicked sends SMS. So okay, the manifest looks really short and easy. Second thing what we can do is we can, okay, let's just go to fake APK tool again, APK output. What we can do is, if you know, if an Android malware or Android app wants to send SMS, it will basically use a method named send text message. So we can just grep for that particular thing, send text message in Smiley folder, and here it is. If you see, we have this send text message being sent, being used inside the package name. com.example.fakeapp is the package name, and main activity Smiley. So now what we can do is we can have a look at the Java implementation which we might have got in the output of dex2jar. So you can use JDX GUI, you can use JD GUI. I basically prefer using both interchangeably. So as you see here, we have send text message implementation done in here. If you go ahead and find send text message, here is send text message. Now ideally in happy scenarios, or if you are lucky, you can find this string and basically this directly somewhere mentioned in here, or else say in strings.xml file, or somewhere around in this I can say app package, somewhere in the app. But the way I have obfuscated this particular piece of Trojan is that it's not able to, you'll not actually get where exactly this string or local object is defined. So I tell you, it's a good obfuscation method. Basically I used Enigma for this. I also mentioned this in previous video where we were using the same app and using log method to find out the message that is being sent. So yeah, to be short and quick, let me tell you, you won't be able to find this easily by grepping or reversing the app. So let's go ahead and use Frida in this tutorial. Let me quickly show you what Frida is. So its official channel or website is, URL is frida.re. It's built by Ole, and it's really good. There are very few times, or I can say there are rare times when a good toolkit or framework is developed in security community, and Frida is one of those rare gems you can find in the wild. So Frida is basically dynamic instrumentation toolkit. So what basically means dynamic instrumentation toolkit? It allows you to make some changes dynamically when your app is running. You don't have to reverse engineer or reverse the app or recompile as we did in previous video. So if we go ahead and see the documentation, as here Ole mentions that it's a dynamic code instrumentation toolkit. Pardon my fumbling. It lets you inject snippets of JavaScript or your own library into native apps on Windows, Mac OS, GNU Linux, iOS, Android, and BlackBerry. Yes, I suppose QNX is BlackBerry. What interests us is the Android part. So if you go ahead, I'm basically not going into the installation part and the basics of Frida. There are tons of material that you can find online, and if in case you need a different tutorial for that, we can make a different video. So basically Frida is a whole ocean of things you can do. If you go ahead and quickly go here, tutorials, it has these different tutorials, and what interests us is JavaScript. So this is basically whole documentation of JavaScript. There was one more, just give me 1 second. Yes, API reference, you have to go to JavaScript API. But what my personal experience says that there are tons of things and tons of APIs, as you can see here, and each and everything is a whole thing in itself. So what we can do is you can just pick up a scenario and try to dig into that scenario using Frida. That's what exactly today we are going to do. Our main problem is to, or I can say main objective is to hook into the required method and then get the output. So in here what we are going to do is we are going to I'll just show you a quick JavaScript wrapper that I basically use, and it's handy most of the times. So when it comes to Frida, quickly let me tell you how Frida works. Or one is the agent that is running on your I know that I told we will not go into basics, but this is a quick walkthrough which is needed for this tutorial. Which works on your local machine or say Ubuntu in our case. Second is Frida server that goes into the Android device, and in our case we have this emulator that is running right now. Once the setup is done, we can send JavaScript loaded into the Android server via Android agent, and it will do its magic. So once, say for example, we have this, I'll show you exactly how to write and all, but once you have the JavaScript ready, we can use -u for emulators or USB connected devices. We can load the script using -l option, and later on, yes, we'll need the package name here which we need to hook. So this is basically a very short and sweet introduction to Frida. Definitely it's not the best one. There are tons of websites, as I told you, and videos you can see for Frida setup and basics. So for today's video we'll just keep it to this much. Now comes the part of JavaScript, as I told you, right? So in order to write the JavaScript, what I basically use is, at first this might look like a kind of complicated, cumbersome thing, but let me just write down this thing first. Basically save this thing. So as soon as you save, the Sublime will give you syntax highlighting and all. So that's one good part. And second thing comes is, So once we have this ready, what I like to do is use java.perform in order to wrap around my complete JavaScript. So this is what I do. So first of all, let's see what the syntax is of java.perform. So java.perform, according to Frida's documentation, says that it ensures that the current thread is attached to the VM and call function. Will defer calling function if apps class loader is not available yet. Use java.perform now if access to apps classes is not needed. So for simplicity purpose, we will be just using java.perform and not java.perform now. And inside java.perform, we will be using java.use as the main functionality for loading the classes. So what java.use says, according to the documentation, it dynamically gets a JavaScript wrapper for class name. So in here, so java.perform, it's okay. So here it's better to take care while writing this wrapper, because in JavaScript you will have hard times if there is a spelling mistake or a semicolon missing. It won't actually give you a syntax appropriate syntax error. Inside java.perform we have this function, and inside the function we can do our implementation. So inside implementation part, what basic things that I do is, first of all, load the required class. Secondly, you can change or modify, basically modify the implementation of the method inside the class. So guys, this is important to understand. Let's take an example of a typical class that, just a second, I don't want to mess up with the syntax. So let's take an example of how a Java class exactly looks like. It might have a package, say com.shiv.test. There might be a class inside this package name saying class name, and which might be extending or implementing something, but extends, but just for simplicity purpose, just take simple class. And inside the class we might have a method, say for example method 1, and some kind of, say, parameters that are being passed. And in here there might be some kind of implementations that are being done, say a is equal to, say, b plus c, and string is equal to say some kind of concatenation of a or something similar, say a dot to string. Just don't go with the syntax, it might be wrong. And here it returns the string. Okay, so this is basically a you can say a very raw implementation of a package or a class in Java. So now inside Java what we can use is load the class, as I told you. So variable object is equal to java.use, and in here we'll need package name dot class name, and now we can use this object to change any implementation of the methods that are available in this class. So let me again take care of the spellings and each and every syntax. So implementation is equal to function. Again we can pass in the parameters which are being used in the methods, and here is again the implementation part. So this is the core logic area, I can say. So understand, the wrapper wraps around java.perform. Inside java.perform we have this function. Inside the function we'll be using java.use to load the class name. So in this case our package name and class name would be com.shiv.test. So in here com.shiv.test. This is important to understand, guys. We don't need package name, we need class name here. So it will be class name. Once we have this, now we have a object which can take care of all the methods that are available inside this class name. So once we have this object, what we can do is we can change the implementation of method 1 as we want, and that's the magic of Rida. So in here we can do is method 1 dot implementation, and inside here one parameter is being passed. So what you can do is you just can name it anything like string or say just a, and here you can say, for example, if you want to see what exactly a is, so you can do is console.log, and this is value of a, and print out a. And again, if you want to return the actual implementation, then what you can do is return this dot, I think so it would be method 1, and say value of a. This will we can do the core logic area, the core logic things here, and then return the execution to the normal method as it was going on. So now let's get back to our code here. So according to the example that I showed you, this is exactly the package name that we will be requiring. But one quick thing here is, inside this package name we have a class called main activity, but because of the obfuscation that I have used, there have been multiple classes in here. If you see, this is a class named A. Inside class named A there is onClick, a method, but again if we go inside onClick, we have various things over here, so it's not going to go that easy. Say for example, if we had say just send SMS method inside here along with onCreate, say for example onCreate, and here we had another something called public void send SMS, which is having parameters as phone number and message, then we could directly hook it. But in here the things are a little bit trickier. So this brings us to one important point, that is this class name. As I told you, we can use any class or any package names inside JavaScript wrapper. So what we can do is, in here, instead of hooking into this package name, what we can we can do is we can hook into this class. So first of all, let's see how the implementation is done for SMS Manager. So if we come here, we can see the package name is com.android.telephony, and the class name is SMS Manager. So rather than hooking into com.example.fakeapp, we'll try and use this class name. So now let's prepare our hook function. So perform function variable object, or say here we'll be using this as our required class. Now understand, inside this class is the method that we require. So in here it was method 1, but in here we will be needing send text message, and if we find this is the newer version, we can go ahead with this send text based messages. You can go ahead with this or this, it's up to you. But I have used the implementation of this the method name without message ID, so this is the required thing. So we can see the implementation here. Send text message is the method name, guys. So let's go ahead and use send text method as the method name. Function here, as I told you, we need to pass the parameters that are being passed in send text message. So I'm knowingly emphasizing on this, because a small mistake over here in selecting package names or class names or methods and parameters, the script will be left useless. So coming back to here, if we see, this is the implementation part, or this is the declaration. It consists of 3 strings, which is destination address, source address, and text, and there are 2 intents, pending intents, a sent intent and a delivery intent. So we don't require this 2 for our purpose. What we require is destination address and text. So we can go ahead and in here pass the parameters, which are this basically. So we can, for simplicity purpose, use destination address, source address, message that is being sent. This will be sent intent, so say SI, and delivery intent, so basically DI. In here we can say the message is the third parameter, that is message, and if we want we can if you want the SMS Trojan to send message, then you can, or simply continue the execution, you can do is this dot, or let's do one thing, we just don't want to do it, just leave it as it is. So here I suppose the syntax is fine, so we'll come to know. Let's just save this, and here let me bring up the emulator. As I told you, the syntax would be Frida-U for USB or emulators, -L for loading the required JavaScript that we just wrote, and -F would be com.example.fakeapp, and let's hope for the best. It basically okay, so here it will ask you to resume. If you don't want to halt the execution, you can pass in here as no pause. I think so, no pause is this syntax, but that's fine. We can go ahead with resume, and here you can see it says script loaded. Here script loaded, and now let's go ahead and click the button. By clicking the button, remember guys, by clicking the button syntax message was being fired. So here, yes, sending message, and did you guys see it? This is the secret. Let's go ahead and also see what is the phone number that is to which phone number we are sending this message. So the cool part about JavaScript is or Frida is we just have to make the changes here. Say console.log the phone number, and phone number is, remember guys, phone number is destination address, so you can go ahead as dest address semicolon, and script loaded, and just notice what happens here. Script loaded again. As soon as I'll save this, you'll see the change over here. I saved it and script loaded again. That's the cool part. So in here, what we need, we don't need to apply this whole script or rerun the app. So as soon as as I press the button, it will give me this is the secret and this is the phone number. So what we basically did is we hooked onto send text message as our method. And why did we do that? Because here we require send text message. So rather than hooking onto this class, what we did is we still are hooking into this particular app, I can say, because that's what we did. If you see here, we are still hooking the JavaScript onto this package name, that is basically our fake app. But inside the wrapper, what we are using is android.telephony.sms manager. So that's how you can identify or use Frida to hook into internal methods, or say the default methods that are being used. And this is how you can easily use Frida for getting into the secrets or digging into secrets. In upcoming videos we'll use much more of Frida with live malwares, and let's hope for the best. Thank you so much.